This week on Battle of the Ports, we're taking a look at Micro Machines from Codemasters. In case you didn't know, Micro Machines is a top-down racing game where you race in environments such as a breakfast table, pool tables, work desks, and treehouse. In the game, you drive toy vehicles such as powerboats, helicopters, Formula 1 cars, and tanks that can shoot other racers. Courses have predefined paths that racers must follow. If a player leaves a defined route for too long, they are sent back to the track. This does stop you from missing large chunks of the area. There are two game modes, the Micro Machines Challenge and Head to Head. In both modes, the player selects a character. In the Micro Machines Challenge, players race against 3 computer-controlled opponents and must finish in first or second to qualify for the next round. Players are given 3 chances. If all 3 are lost, the game is over. Every 3 races, players compete in a time trial race to earn an extra chance. These are bloody annoying in my opinion. In the head-to-head mode, players race against another vehicle. Players are color-coded and the goal is to get lights on the screen to show the player's color by getting a screen ahead of the other player, so the trailing player is no longer visible. When this happens, one light changes to the color of the leading player. The game ends when all 8 lights are one color, or after 3 laps, in which case victory goes to the player with the most lights. If the game is tied, there's a sudden death playoff, where the next player to win a light wins. As you can see, the game is extremely primitive in looks, and in all honesty, an insult to my eyes. Still, I'm in the minority as Micro Machines was very popular. It spawned a few sequels and even remakes on the Game Boy Advance, PlayStation 2, Xbox and GameCube. Since this is a Western made game, it isn't that easy to get exact release dates, so I'm going to be showing these in any order. So what better way to follow up Nintendo's 8-bit system than with Sega's 8-bit system, the Master System. Straight away you can see that this version looks vastly superior to the Microsoft Paint looking NES game. Sadly, it doesn't play as well. This Master System port has stiffer controls leading to a more stilted experience. The AI is also a level up over the NES version, and the sound is poor. I mean, it was poor on the NES, but I think it's worse here. I must also point out that this game is optimized for PAL Master System consoles, which is why the screen is flickering like crazy on my Japanese system. Next up is the Game Gear version, which supports 2 players via link-up or by players holding one end of the console each, with one player using the buttons and the other the D-pad. The Game Gear version was created by Ashley Ruledge and Dave Saunders, who adjusted the Mega Drive graphics to the Game Gear's smaller screen. It was produced alongside the Mega Drive version and programmed from scratch to run at 60 frames per second. The biggest problem with this port is the screen size resolution. It makes it difficult to take corners at high speed, even with the tweaked camera movement so that the vehicle was positioned further back. As you've no doubt noticed, this looks identical to the Master System game, and that's because it is essentially the same game with the exact same controls and slowdown. Game Boy next with a port developed by Mindscape and published by Ocean. that just makes perfect sense, as this version is nowhere near as playable as the other versions we've played so far. The main issue is that the cars slide all over the place. It feels as if every stage is based upon ice. The frame rate probably doesn't help with the laggy controls either. Then we have the audio. It is true that all versions of Micro Machines sound cheap, but this one is just painful to listen to. If you want Micro Machines on the move, go with the Game Gear version. Well, unless you want to try the Game Boy Color version, which also comes with Micro Machines 2. It just plays like this one though. Amiga time with a port direct from Codemasters. This version is doing a few things Amiga games don't normally do well. First, it runs at 50 frames per second. Secondly, it's almost full screen. It's just a shame there is no parallax scrolling, and where is the music? I didn't see any options to switch it on unless it's some mysterious keyboard command. Micro Machines also made it to the PC via MS-DOS. This version is very much like the Amiga release, but now with music and parallax scrolling. There is a choice of PC speaker or Sound Blaster. I'm using Sound Blaster, although it sounds more like one of those cheap musical greeting cards. Did you know that the Philips CDI even got a port of Micro Machines? Yes, it's true. Here it is. Now, I do have to come clean and say that I'm running this via emulation, which sucks by the way, as the audio is too hot and the emulator limits you to 3 minutes. But that's enough to get an idea of Micro Machines on the CDI. As we can see, it is a very colourful version of the game, and I do like the little FMV sections before each race. Sadly, the actual game isn't very good due to the slow controls and low frame rate. Still, considering there isn't much on the CDI, this is probably one of the better games for that system. According to the Wikipedia page, this Mega Drive version has on-rail handling, but it seems the same as the other versions to me. As you can see, this is clearly what the Master System and Game Gear ports were based upon, but for a Mega Drive game it looks really cheap. The only nice part is the rotation effects added to the vehicle sprites for smoother movement. I really don't think much of the main mode, where two players need to outrun another to gain a point. This mode is horrible. You end up driving way too near the end of the screen, and the constant stopping really breaks the game flow. But then again, it's the same in every version of Micro Machines. SNES version next by Merit Software, and yes, it's just the Mega Drive version, but this time you have the choice to play 4-player games, as long as you have a multi-tap. I'm British, so you'd expect the art in Micro Machines to appeal to me, but it doesn't. Even as a kid, I thought this kind of simple comic book art looked crap, and I still do. And let's take a look at all those versions of Micro Machines running side by side.